When we first met Dr. Phil, my wife, JoLynn, had hit rock bottom. I was hoping that JoLynn would take the help that Dr. Phil was offering. I wasn't sad to be away from her because I knew the importance of the help she was getting. It's better that JoLynn is not here than if she is here drinking. I struggle with being alone. I know that she's in a very good place, so it helps me to relax and I can be in a better place. From what I hear, JoLynn is doing quite well with treatment and accepting it gracefully. I definitely attribute that to Dr. Phil and Westwind Recovery. This time seems 1,000 times better than the other times JoLynn had moments of sobriety. I'm definitely looking forward for her to come home when it's the right time. My hopes are that JoLynn will stay sober, and I think she's capable of doing that. JoLynn and I both need to work on our relationship so that we have a happy marriage moving on. I want JoLynn to know that I have her back and I will be there for her. There's no doubt in my mind, if it wasn't for Dr. Phil, that JoLynn would probably be dead by now. I truly cannot thank Dr. Phil enough for saving JoLynn's life and our marriage.
Well, Keith, it is good to see you.
Dr. Phil, it's fantastic to see you again. And if I may start, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for saving JoLynn's life.
Well, you're very kind to say that, and all of the work is being done by her, and I hope is going to be done by you going forward. And you say that now that you've seen her, it's the JoLynn you fell in love with.
Absolutely.
It's the woman that you knew before she went down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, she's back.
Now, let me be very clear about this. You're not responsible for her being an alcoholic. Even if you did things to enable it, even if you made some bad choices that extended it, she made that choice. And a big part of her treatment is that she has to be responsible for those choices. And she will come back a different woman than left. You won't have the same relationship.
Okay.
She's going to be active in her sobriety. She's going to be attending meetings. She's probably going to sponsor people eventually. She's going to do a lot of things that haven't been part of your life before. And the question is, how will you react to her being involved in things that she's never been involved in before?
She has been, around AA meetings quite a bit. So it's nothing, none of it is going to be news to me or surprising to me because it's already been part of my life for quite a bit of time.
But what I'm telling you is I think it is going to be new to you because I think she's at a level she's never been before. You need to rise to that level with her.
Since JoLynn's been in recovery, people tell me I need to work on myself, but I don't exactly know what that means. JoLynn wants me to be active in Al-Anon. Al-Anon is a 12-step program for spouses of alcoholics. I have been to some online meetings, but I didn't stay with it very long. I'm not the kind of person that will spill my guts and come off like I need help. Me supporting JoLynn is me not drinking in front of her. I'm all in for JoLynn. This is about her, not me.
Keith, you said that people talk to you about the fact that you need to change, you need to move forward, that you need to alter what you're doing, and you're not sure exactly what that is. So I want to be very specific about that.
Okay.
And
I
you
understand.
said, I've attended some online Al-Anon meetings, and they're not really for me. They need to be for you. You say, I'm not the kind of guy that spills his problems. You know what? You need to be a willing spirit because there are people that are a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years further down the path than you are that just might tell you some things, some tricks, some traps, some things to watch for that might empower you to support her. You need to educate yourself. You need to learn what codependency is and how not to fall into those old habits. You need to be willing to take alcohol out of your relationship with her. You need to learn what you have to do to change the environment.
Right.
And it needs to signal a new day. Now, Dr. Deena Manion is joining us today. Dr. Manion is the clinical officer of Westwind Recovery Centers, and they offer a full array of substance and mental health services right here in the Hollywood Hills of California, and she has taken a very active interest in JoLynn. What would you add to what I'm saying, Dr. Manion?
I think one of the things that I would impress upon you is what Dr. Phil is saying in terms of changing what you can change at home while she's making these changes with us. One of the things that we do at Westwind that's so great is that we don't just have somebody come in for detox and residential and then go right back into their homes. We have people stay and transition back slowly. So Keith has come down and spent some time with JoLynn. We're going to continue to do that. And before JoLynn actually goes home for good, she's going to maybe take a couple trips home, see how she feels when she's there. The one thing that JoLynn said has not happened in the past when she's attempted to get sober is the alcohol has not been taken out of the house, or you have not stopped drinking around her. And this is really a critical point, because even if you do not have a problem with alcohol, she can't be around it in any way, shape, or form.
I think that meeting Dr. Phil saved my life. The doctors and staff at Westwind Recovery are the best I've ever seen. I found out that I do have purpose for living. Dr. Phil, he gave me this gift that I could never return. I was basically a 24-hour drunk. I do not remember my first day at Westwind. I was on a withdrawal medication for 14 days. It was an extremely uncomfortable detox. Right now, I'm in between residential and sober living, so we're still being monitored with our medications. I go to IOP, which is Intensive Outpatient Program, and this is where I have my 3 groups every day. Dr. Deena has been very supportive of me and encouraging to me, and I always love seeing her. I plan on being at Westwind for 120 days total. I hope to learn in sober living how to exist sober. The things I'm missing at home is my dog and my husband. I think about the time that I will see Keith again, and I'm really looking forward to walking my dog every night. I just love him to pieces. When I do see Keith, I would like to express to him that for me to drink is for me to die, and I need him to be on board with me. I need him to make the changes that he needs to make, so when I go home, I'm in a comfortable environment. Dr. Phil, I truly want to thank you for the opportunity that you gave me at Westwind Recovery, and I hope I make you proud.
Well, JoLynn, come on out, please.
Dad, you look beautiful.
Well, JoLynn, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Well, you just look terrific.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Very different than the last time we met. How does it feel to look at the world now and it's not fuzzy?
Feels absolutely amazing.
You know, first off, I saw a woman that I thought was close to death, frankly. I saw a woman that I thought was sick of herself and sick of life. And I know what alcohol does. I know what it steals from somebody. I know how it shreds the layers of your being. And I have said to people so many times, you don't ever surrender to the disease. I always try to look past the obvious. You know, if I see somebody angry, I try to look behind the anger and see, why are they angry? If I see somebody self-medicating themselves to oblivion, when I know they're an intelligent individual and could have a joy-filled life, why are they choosing that? And I just saw somebody in pain and really, really hurting. And I watched some things you did even when you were dealing with the police and they would show you a minor kindness, you were gracious with them. And with my staff here, when you were here drunk and not happy, even though you would be irritable about even having to be here, when one of them would do something to help you and all that, you were very kind and gracious to them. And those are your core values that no matter what happens, those things come through. And those things showed me who you really were. And I thought, this is a woman worth saving. Because at the core, I saw who you really were. And that's the truth.
Thank you. That makes me really happy.
Now you tell me an answer to a question. Why are you worth saving?
Because I do love life. I do love who I am when I'm not drunk. I do love my family and my husband and my mom and my dogs. And I want to live that life again. I really wanted to get better. I just didn't know how.
When I met JoLynn for the first time, she pretty much looked like a walking dead person. After her detoxification, she really woke up. We had to give her a lot of medical attention for her to get to a place where she was able to be present. In order for JoLynn to return home, she needs to return to a sober household, and that is a commitment that we've asked Keith to make. I am impressed with how Dr. Phil, the producers, and all of his staff, they really care what happens to the guests on the show, because it's really not just TV. This is real life.
A few months ago, JoLynn's alcohol addiction had gotten so severe that she ended up getting arrested by police for public intoxication, with the case making headline news. But today, JoLynn is sober. And we've stayed away from her till now because we don't get involved. When we turn someone over for treatment, we step back and leave them alone until they've done what they need to do. And she's completed detox and then inpatient rehabilitation and has graduated from that and moved on now to transitioning back into the world. And that transition will probably take years. I mean, this is an ongoing process. In order to continue to support JoLynn's sobriety, Dr. Manion felt it would be better if JoLynn met with Keith in person before the taping, rather than just here. Here's what happened when they saw each other for the first time.
I'm super excited to see Keith in person.
I'm nervous about seeing JoLynn. It's an excited nervousness.
I feel like this is our vow renewal.
We're probably going to embrace and hold each other for quite a while.
It's gonna feel wonderful to hold Keith. He's my hugger for the last 30 years.
Hi, honey. Oh, you look so
sweetie.
good.
It's so good to see you and hold you. Been a while since we've done that.
You're so sweet. Oh, they're beautiful. Thank you so much. 60 days sober today.
Congratulations,
Thanks,
honey.
honey.
You look great, and I'm just so proud of you. What happened in the past doesn't matter. It's what happens in the future. I've been waiting what feels like forever for this moment.
Excited.
Over the top to
Yes.
finally be back with my wife.
It's been very hard to be away from Keith. He's my connection.
Since Dr. Phil sent me to Westwind Recovery, I actually have a life worth living.
Well, it's so great to see y'all connect
Thank you.
in that way.
Thank you.
Now, you have a stepdaughter, Lauren,
I do.
and things have not gone well there because there's been,
Been drinking a lot.
yeah. She sent a statement she wanted to share, and the statement says, "I'm feeling super proud of JoLynn. I'm hopeful for her and my dad to have a better relationship and not be so codependent on each other, and I'm hopeful that this was the life-changing rock bottom that they needed to put forth a new effort for a new life. Thank you for giving her the opportunity to see her worth.
Very nice.
Wise young woman.
She is.
You know, the last 3 words of her statement, see her worth. You know, that's really what it comes down to, is if you do see that worth, you wouldn't treat yourself the way you'd been treating yourself. You deserve better.
I do.
I wish you guys nothing but the absolute best. And when I call on you to help me with somebody that needs a guiding light, I trust that you'll answer.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
I've been sober just under 5 years from Adderall, Xanax, and alcohol. I feel very proud of myself. My addiction began in 2010. I was always running out of pills before my prescription date was up. I would buy Adderall from friends. I would contact drug dealers if I needed to buy more. Xanax, I was in denial that I had an issue. I was really excited to move to LA in 2012 and work for Dr. Phil. On the outside, it seemed like I had it all. On the inside, I was a complete mess. Everything came crashing down in 2015 when I had to leave Dr. Phil. I had taken too much Adderall. I started to freak out. I couldn't feel my legs at a point, and I was taken to the hospital. I was very ashamed, I was embarrassed. Surprisingly, that incident was not a wake-up call. A friend shared her own experience in sobriety. I had a light bulb moment and realized I needed to go to treatment. Because of the show and Dr. Phil, my health insurance paid for treatment. Since I went to treatment in May 2016, I have never drank or taken a pill. In 2020, I got my second chance to work for Dr. Phil as an associate producer. I worked on the first episode with JoLynn and Keith. I found the experience so rewarding because JoLynn accepted Dr. Phil's help and is now doing so well. It resonates with me because Dr. Phil helped me as well.
Well, Lindy, I was just saying to you, you're coming full circle. You're seeing things from this point of view now, from being on stage, right?
Absolutely. I have a even higher respect for what you do and what our guests go through to be on the show. I'm not used to being on this side of the camera, so a little nerve-wracking. But
Exactly.
thank you so much for having me.
Well, your question that you had for me, and I've got it verbatim, is how I deal with the shame and embarrassment I feel from leaving the show the way I did. How do I learn not to beat myself up so hard and show myself compassion? And I'm going to answer that question, but then you found the courage to take the biggest risk that people ever take. The number one fear is rejection.
Sure.
Number one fear we face is rejection. And you took the risk of coming back and asking for your job back when you left in the worst circumstance you could imagine. Where did you find the courage to do that?
I felt safe here, and I loved helping people. And I loved the staff here, and my friends were here. So there were so many positive things about my experience here outside of being sick that those meant more to me than to not ask and to sit back and lose out on a possible opportunity to be back at a place that I loved so much. So I took a risk.
Were you surprised when we said, yeah, we want you to come back?
Yes, I was surprised. I was definitely surprised and so grateful and excited, but also afraid to walk back in the door.
As you know from being here, you've always heard me say family first.
Yes.
And, we don't turn our back on people that have a problem. And so we were grateful that you came back.
Thank you.
We're so proud of our daughter, Lindy, and her commitment to sobriety. She's so strong.
When we found out about Lindy's addiction, we were in denial, sad, and we just felt helpless. We visited Lindy about 2 times a year. There were signs we should have seen. The weight loss should have been a sign. Once Lindy stayed out all night and strolled in early that morning before going to work. It wasn't our business to ask where she had been, but it was not normal.
She told us she was abusing Adderall and was struggling with addiction.
Lindy went to work and realized that she just wasn't strong enough to stay. So Lindy found a treatment center. After she left, she made the comment that she would never take another pill again.
I support her 100%. She is fully committed. She does this all on her own. I don't have to ask her to do any of it. We believe in Lindy, and we're so thankful that Dr. Phil gave her a second chance. Dr. Phil shows others if you stumble, you can come back stronger than ever.
Lindy's a rock star. She's my hero.
Lindy's parents, Butch and Susan, are joining us virtually from their home in Georgia. Butch, Susan, it's so good to meet you.
Hello, Dr.
see you.
Phil. Hey, Lindy.
Hi.
How proud are you of this girl?
She's amazing. Like you said, Dr. Phil, she's a rock star.
And you've been clean and sober now for how long?
5 years on May 6th.
And that's pretty amazing. The thing I want to say to you, and it's really what comes full circle, and the first book I wrote was in 1998, I think. It's like, God, you probably weren't even born.
I was. I was 10.
But I wrote about the 10 laws of life. And life law number 9 is there's power in forgiveness. And that's what I want to say to you to complete your full circle. Because you say, how do I get past the shame and the guilt of the way I left and the bad choices that I made? And really, it comes down to the power of forgiveness. And you really have to decide, I deserve to forgive myself. The past is over. The future hasn't happened yet. The only time is now. And the whole thing about forgiveness is it's not an emotion. It's not like you pray for it, you hope for it, you wait for it and hope that someday it'll come. Forgiveness is a choice, but you have to make the choice to say, I forgive myself for that. Because if you don't, then you're locked in an emotional prison, beating yourself up over it for the rest of your life. Feeling guilty is just an excuse to sit on the sidelines.
Sure.
You don't deserve that.
Yes, sir.
And we can't afford to have you sitting on the sidelines. We need you in JoLynn's corner. Sure. We need you in the next one. And you, better than anybody, understand what it means when I say, I don't approach this as television.
Sure.
I just do what I do, and then y'all cut it up into television. I just, it's like there's a clock up there that says 4:10. I was supposed to stop talking 4 minutes and 12 seconds ago. I don't give a I don't give a about that. I just say what I need to say, and it's up to y'all to figure out how to squeeze that in.
Right.
But you've got to just choose to forgive yourself. And you may have to choose that every day for 10 days, 30 days, 60 days, and then it will just become part of your value system and you'll be past that. But it's a choice.
Sure.
It's been 2 months since I sat on this stage with Keith.
Whose wife, JoLynn, was an out-of-control alcoholic.
Whoa, there's a ledge there.
Now.
I was basically a 24-hour drunk. Dr. Phil saved my life.
Come on out, please. Well, you just look terrific.
New Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.